Welcome to the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands, with your hosts, Marc Renee and Sean Castles, coming to you from Radio Waves Studios in New York City. Now, let's kick off the show.
Well, hi again, everybody, and indeed this is the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands. I'm Marc Renee. Sean Castles is my co-host, and this is part 2 of our dive into Arsenal fandom with Cristiano Adiutori from O'Hanlon's in New York City and the Arsenal supporters we hung out with at the bar on an early season match day.
I'm going to change us tact here because there was a lot of singing. And a lot of people are not going to know the songs. So what are some of the songs? I know not all of them are come up on the spot, but there's a few anthems of Arsenal out there, and we like to kind of bring those up too, so people know, aware of what's being sung.
Yeah, that's a lot of bad words involved. We love the one against our arch enemy, Tottenham. But again, I don't know if I want to sing that. I'm not very much singing songs against other teams. I'm more about singing our own songs. We invented this one because Devin, the other bartender that works with me during the games, has a mustache. So back in the days, they still call him the Stash. So, and he pours pints. So eventually we started with this song, "Oh, when the Stash is pouring pints. Oh, when the Stash is pouring pints." And then his reply was, "Oh, when the Gooners are drinking pints." So we come out with songs on the spot, especially Kevin and Damien are the one coming out with songs and people picking up and trying to come along with the lyrics and maybe changing the lyrics because they really understand what they're saying. And that's a very good way to vocalize your feelings in a positive way.
There's literally drums there.
Yeah.
There literally was a drummer there on his, and people were like, it's a very non-American, unique. I know in Europe, if you travel to England, they'll have a piano there. People will stop singing. It is not a very American thing to have singing at a bar unless it's 4 a.m. and Billy Joel comes on.
Everything happened very organically. It's not something that we started because it was cool or because it was loud or because everything came very organically. There was eventually Sebi, who is the man behind the drums, saw the drums, was left behind from, I don't know why he was behind the bar. It was like Sebi, and he started pounding the drums. It became a thing. Nothing, I swear to God, it's one of the most important thing for me. Everything is very genuine. Nothing comes to look cool. Everything is very organic and happens in the moment. The songs come in the moment from a genuine act of emotion and need of doing something, and not because you want to attract attention on you, or at least now it's like that. Back in the days maybe it was a little bit to look cool because the bar wasn't that busy, but now that we see how people look at us as inspiration, we have to provide for an experience that is not about ourselves.
Yeah, totally.
When you try to look cool, that the inspiration, I understand it can be attractive,
Everyone wants to be on the stage. It's easy to be drawn to that, but I didn't feel like that there.
But if we make it about the fans, about the supporting club, then it gets stronger, more powerful, more, again, I was saying how important it was for me coming to O'Hanlon's, opening the bar, having the keys in my hand and feeling so important and necessary as a human being because I could open the bar. But I talked to many fans and, after a couple of pints, just telling me, like, listen, man, to be honest with you, my life sucks. And the only moment of joy that I have is here during the games. I don't want to sound like fucking tragic, but I swear to God. And it wasn't just one, it was 2 and 3 and 4. And not because life sucks per se, but sometimes I feel like my wife doesn't love me anymore. And my kids fucking idiots. And my job is terrible. My boss is a bitch. It's not necessarily completely entirely true, but sometimes you have that strong feeling, and when you go to the bar, to O'Hanlon's, watching the game, you're like, oh shit, this is great.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
I have something to look forward to. And for Americans, that may be football weekend on Sunday. It might be the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But there is at least one day, once a week, if not twice a week, because you guys are in Champions League, where like I have 2.5, 3 hours that I'm going to be win or lose. I'm going to stop, turn everything. That's also the thing I love about soccer is there's no commercials.
I know.
It's 45 minutes straight. We're not stopping because when that commercial comes on, everyone turns and talks, but they are focused and they are looking at the game there and they're singing together, and that allows the experience to continue and grow as opposed to really any other sports in America that have so many commercials and so many breaks, and it doesn't allow a cohesiveness at the bar.
Yeah, it's a different pace. You're right. Maybe during a commercial, I realize in football, you have the chance to go to the bathroom, eating a sandwich, having a chat. But because there's so many, especially with nowadays, with the attention span that we have, me included, not just like Gen Zers, I cannot keep up the attention. No, it's everybody. It's everybody. There's a lot going on. There's way more going on than before. I mean, back in the days, you have like a newspaper and a TV. Now there's like, you have your phone constantly with you and constant lights in your eyes. You go to a Times Square, you go to a bar, it's like screens everywhere. So it's hard to keep up with the attention. And soccer, fortunately, it seems to be up to date.
It is. That just hit me what you said there, that the phones, because looking back, and I mean, it was 3 weeks ago, but I don't remember any phones out and people looking down at their phones. I remember people have their phones up to film, but no one was head down in the phone. Everyone was glued to the TV or glued to whoever was singing and being a part of that. There was no phone culture to it. And at halftime, half the people went out because they're smokers. They go out and smoke, and that's where I meet a few of the people and get some interviews in there. And you were right. There was a line down the street of like, can I get back in there? Can we get in there? But yeah, there wasn't even phones outside except for a few people. Like it really kind of breaks from that culture.
It's so funny. I never realized that.
It really does, though. Yeah.
Oddly enough, I never realized that. Nobody's ever on the phone.
How many times do you go to a bar when there's not a game on or there's something on, there's not experience, and even the people having dinner together are on their phone looking at it and occasionally going up a conversation, whereas you throw an event and no one's on their phone. They're all like, I'm going to be engaged in the moment instead of getting onto the toxic digital world.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes, halftime, 45 minutes. Like, conceptually, it's very quick. And in any moment you can score a goal, so there's no you have to be glued on the TV for the moment. But most of all is about like engaging the chance and coming out with a new one, and be ready to also if they score against you, be ready to cope with your friend, and maybe receiving the message on the phone of the banter of the other team, say, yeah, you're losing again. And but again, the most interesting thing you were talking about. Well, your experience at about we won 3-0 that day, but then the week after we lost against Liverpool 1-0, and it was actually interesting because it was another fried football. Shout out loud. They made a very good video about us, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for you, man, Sean, and everybody's doing this podcast. Before I forget, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I wasn't expecting this level of professionality. I didn't know much about you. I didn't know much about what you do. So for me, it was a surprise, and it was an incredible surprise. This is amazing.
Thank you.
I don't want to blow any smoke on anybody, but again, I'm still a boy from Rome. I still feel flattered and excited of being in New York City, being invited in a studio, professional studio, surrounded by professionals. For me, it's still something. I mean, that makes me a little nervous. No,
nerves get good energy,
I'm
though.
honest. I mean, I walked in shaking hands, suit and tie, beautiful decor. The building is the one in which Tesla was testing, experimenting.
He did it up on the roof here. That's for another time, and I'll have David and Sue can tell that story another time. But it is true. This is a historic building.
So for me, those stories are very important. And the same with O'Hanlon's. It's 50 years old. It's a bar that is 50 years old. There's a lot of history in that bar. The way it became what we are in 15 years. It's those stories that we talk about it. And that day when we lost with Liverpool, Fried Football was so surprised that there was no animosity, no anger, and everybody stayed. And they stayed a little longer because they were coping. An extra beer, an extra glass, an extra shot, but not condemning the team, not bitching about the game. It was a very good game against the best teams in the world. So what do you expect?
Yeah, and only one goal difference. It's next game.
Incredible shot, an incredible shot that decided the game. Okay, let's move on. And I was very proud of it. And they were super surprised, and that surprise really resonated with me and made me very proud. So you were there when we won, and okay, when you win is much easier, but when we lose is the moment in which you have to step as a bartender, as a community, to be around, to stay a little longer, not checking out. I remember a few years ago, there was a community shield. We are down 2-0. And this guy is like, okay, can I check out? And it was the beginning of the season. Your community shield comes up before the start of the season. I grabbed the microphone. I shut down the audience like, hey, guys, allow me to say something. The culture of O'Hanlon's is not this one. We stay until the end of the game. If you're not okay with this, absolutely fine. Before we start the season, I'm going to tell you, I'm okay with it. There's like so many Arsenal bars in the city, so many soccer bars in the city, and sports bar. Feel free to enjoy the game somewhere else. We don't do this here. A little bit of applause, everybody, whatever. We're going to lose this game, so, kudos to that, I guess. Yes, you're right. We end up winning that game 3-2, 4-2. And the guy at the end, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's not because naively positive, but because if we start with the negativity ahead of us, we ain't gonna win anything. There's nothing we're gonna gain envisioning a eventually sad and disgraceful future. Again, it's like thinking constantly that we're gonna die. Then you're not gonna live.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Exactly. How are you going to win if you're not going to put yourself out there to be in that?
There's a beautiful phrase from Damien that's he sings, he shouts. It's not a song. He shouts every now and then when we are down a few goals. Is believe, project, manifest. I love it.
And that's the new word out there is manifest. But if you don't put the vibration out there, it's not going to happen. And there is something to that of you were saying how hard it is to actually get into your space. Because if you're showing up 10 minutes late, you're not getting in. You're sitting outside with a bartender, and you said there was a long line of people who are waiting to get in, and they would gladly take your place and wish they had come in a little earlier. So if you're gonna leave it, it's one thing to leave at halftime. You got something else, someone else gets to get in, but you're leaving because you're down. Stay there to enjoy. You came for the experience. Enjoy the experience. Right. Sit through it. Just like if there's a tough moment in a musical or a play you're watching, if something happens and your favorite character dies, you're not going to just be like, I'm out. I'm not watching anymore. I mean, Luke Skywalker is killed. It doesn't mean you stop and watch on Star Wars. You're still going to consider go through the event.
It's like the culture of soccer. It grew up massively in these last 15 years, but because of the resilience of people that really believed in the sport and showing every game, even if it was like three of us. And now there's a line outside, which makes me very proud that we are evaluating opening another bar actually because of that in O'Helens too, the Revenge. Always an Arsenal bar. So we're planning on opening a new bar with Tom and Devin and maybe Midtown, but because the demand is big, and I believe again because the culture of specifically Arsenal is the best in the world. I don't know if you know, but even if we didn't win anything for 20 years, and I mean we won something, but I mean the league and the Champions League for so long, we are in the United States the biggest fan base.
You are?
Yes.
Really? I did not know that.
It's, listen, from my point of view, it's absolutely beautiful, but it's kind of unbelievable. Liverpool been winning so much, City been winning so much, and yet, for some reason, not monetizing, not financially, but on the fan base. And I believe it's because, I don't want to talk bad about those teams, I'm talking about my own club. Because the Arsenal club invested so much in women, so much so that they won the Champions League, invested in people of color, invested in minorities, invested in those kind of fans that were not around. The classic white English or American. When you open a bar, you want to be coming because they spend money, they know the culture already, which is a safe bet. I'm white myself, so I'm not talking shit about white people. I'm white myself, so that's why I know. And I would say you should invest on the minorities because a lot of minorities make a majority. It's math. It's basic math. So if you don't really, again, if you moral standards are not very high, at least try to make a couple of bucks, and through money, maybe developing some moral. Can it be like the new standard? Like having high moral standards is financially valuable.
I think it is. I mean, I think that there's been some proof that if people feel included, if people feel like they're having a good time, that's sales 101. Is you're not just selling the product, you're selling yourself.
Is it revolutionary?
Revolutionary. It's just a matter of for the general populace to actually understand that you're slightly ahead of the curve there, but hopefully people do because it is. You're selling yourself, and if you're selling yourself positively, and you're showing a positive experience, then it breeds other positive experience. I want to actually touch because there's a lady I met at the Tottenham event a couple weeks back who I got some really great bites on about the women's league, and so we haven't really talked about the Premier League Women's League. So what is the experience of those games, and if you could talk a little bit about the Arsenal women's team.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking this question. So fortunately for the first year, Arsenal women is playing at Emirates, so it's gonna be every game is gonna be televised. For the longest time, you have a game every now and then on Arsenal player. You can only see in England, but you use the VPN, so it was kind of difficult to keep up with that. The hours were kind of difficult, but then this year I promised. Day one, I promised everybody I'm going to show every single game. But before I promised that, there was this beautiful day, the Champions League final, in which I wasn't expecting so many women coming, and the bar was absolutely packed with all women and some guys coming and check it out. And the vibe was absolutely incredible, but it wasn't incredible until we made sure and people understood that the bar was a safe place. It's sad to repeat this shit, but I have to. It is what it is. Listen, man, I'm a man myself, and I wasn't always like this. I used to be younger and kind of a cunt. Sorry,
no, but it's a learning process for many men.
It is, and I have to thank my ex-partner, Sonia. I have to thank Devin. I have to thank Tom. I have to thank so many people that during the years they were like, "Hey, bro, maybe it's not appropriate to say that. Maybe you should just say, okay." I learned a lot. So today I'm here not to preach, but to say, I changed because of this and this and that. If you want to do the same, as Devin used to say, there's nothing to teach you. Lead by example. If people see that is what you're doing kind of valuable and cool, they're going to follow you. But if you try to preach and teach, nobody gives a fuck. Rightfully so, because who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Listen.
Why are you telling me?
I mean, no.
No, exactly.
No, me. What the fuck am I? I mean, why should I listen to you? I'm gonna try to convince you. We were talking before. You go to a bar and you introduce yourself because you don't know anybody, and you try to convince them that you're Sean. I have a studio. I'm doing something. Convince them instead of having somebody. Guys, please trust me. I'm telling you that Sean is not an idiot. You need that kind of outside perspective telling people how to do, but once you change, and then what happens that day, the back room was because I usually turn off all the lights in the pool room so you can just focus on the projector, right? But it was very dark, so I had these girls coming to me like, in the back is a little too dark, can you turn on the lights? Absolutely. So I turn on the lights, I make the bar a little more comfortable, a little less dark, and then I put on North London Forever, and that's how we start the games with North London Forever. I jump on the bar and I sing the song with everybody, And I kind of make a clown of myself just to make it.
I wouldn't say a clown. It's a really you are the ringleader in that, and I didn't even know that song, and I enjoyed myself, and it's quite the experience.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. But what I mean is like I make myself most approachable possible, and those girls come down. They see that, and it's like, oh, okay, this is okay. This is a good bar. This is okay bar. And I had those three transgenders girls. They came to the bar, very tame, very they sat at the barrel, not at the bar, because they didn't know. They had the mask on. They didn't want to be seen because they know. As they know, and it's heartbreaking. It's the fucking heartbreaking. So I know I was very aware of the situation. I didn't say anything. A couple of drinks after, sometimes we talk shit about alcohol all the time, but alcohol can be a lubricant to lose up a little bit and trust people a little more if you're in the right environment. So after a couple of drinks, they take off the mask. They see that the bar is okay. The team is performing well. We go down a goal, then we end up winning the game, and everything finally gets on the right spot. Everybody hugging each other. We understand why
you've been through the experience together.
And it was a turning point, and it was an incredible turning point for the bar, for the experience of watching the women's Arsenal women's games. And I decided it's time to make it official on social media and at the bar that we're going to show all the women's games. The coach of the women, Arsenal women, and Arteta are very good friends. They talk. And honestly, women are being more successful than the guys. So you have to learn from them. Let's be completely honest.
Same with the England women teams
There
won
you
the
go.
league. The
Thank you
American
so very
women's
much.
team won the World Cup. The men haven't done that. Women's soccer is really big in America.
Yeah.
It is. We have a fantastic team here, and I hope that most Americans should celebrate that.
Yeah.
And so going out there and going to these, like in America, I believe it's the NWSL. But yeah, I think that people should be going out to the bar as well to be watching the Arsenal women's game because they're great. They're great, and it's a fun experience.
My ultimate dream, if we want to talk about dreams really quick, would be to found a club, a soccer club, O'Hellen's Arsenal a soccer club. But I would love to found a club in which it's not just guys, but people of different sexual orientation. Being gay in the soccer field is still taboo. I mean, how many gay soccer players you know?
I can't name one.
Exactly.
I can only name
And
the
I
NBA
really
players,
believe that it's very, statistically very almost impossible that none of them is not gay. So it would be great to have a team. I'm a big fan of Vermont Green, this club in Vermont. They won the season this year. It's a very low tier soccer team, but they won the season this year. And their values are very progressive, and they've been starting this new culture of inclusion in soccer. And I learned about them from Stadio Podcast, the good friends from Stadio Podcast. Big kudos to them being so progressive in this world that is very conservative, because sport and soccer is very conservative. Again, from my personal experience coming from Europe, I'm not talking just as an American. I'm both Italian and American. I'm not talking about just as a white. I've been there, and it's extremely conservative because it's very old sport. You want to preserve the thing in your family, in your community. It's our thing. And
that's the thing, it's our thing, and trying to break that. That's what we're trying to break here with that podcast is, don't be scared to go out and watch these games. Don't be scared there are not that many people who are like, this is ours and mine, and just go out there and be a part and take it and be a part of it. Don't worry about the gatekeepers. Don't worry about people saying this is my team alone. That's not what we want here. We want to make sure people are getting out there and watching soccer and enjoying it.
That's been a beautiful experience of maturity between U.S. and England. Back in the days, people from London, Arsenal fans from London were calling us plastic fans. And now they don't do anymore because they understood that they didn't sell out their team to the fans abroad, but actually they getting bigger and bigger, and that's something that really changed big time, and I'm very proud of it.
Cristiano, cannot thank you enough for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And again, O'Hanlon's Bar, go visit Cristiano, and possibly O'Hanlon's too, the Revenge, to go watch an Arsenal game and have a really unique experience.
And Sean, we want to thank Cristiano for his time. He's doing a really cool thing, making O'Hanlon's not just a safe haven for Gunners fans, but for everybody. And you had a chance to visit the bar for a 5-0 win over Leeds.
It was an amazing experience. Like when we talked earlier about the Manchester City Amity Hall downtown, O'Hanlon's has quite experience. Actually, I would say it's a little bit of a world-renowned experience because not only was it packed, I would say that, God, there might have even been 1,000 people inside this little bar. It was packed wall to wall, everyone shoulders to shoulders. There was also a line out the door, and that line stayed through halftime with people that were hopeful to actually get in because people were leaving. It was a truly tremendous experience. There was a guy with a drum set. People were singing. Cristiano was on the bar singing. He won't admit that, but he was on the bar singing. It was really a magical event.
But it's interesting to note that all of the chanting and the songs they're singing, not just Gunners-centric, but they've got their own special twist on things at O'Hanlon's.
That's right. First off, there was singing and chanting throughout. I have mentioned before that I went to Duke. I'm a Cameron crazy, and this is the closest I've come to where the crowd was cohesive. It was into the game, and they were all together singing songs. I mean, they were doing riffs off Earth, Wind, and Fire. You know, I Want to Be at O'Hanlon's, which was kind of like when the Saints go marching in. North London Forever was being sung. They would go from one song into another, and of course, whenever a goal, and there were 5 goals scored, whenever there was a goal scored, there was loud cheering and then just immediately breaking into a song either about that player or just about Arsenal. It was a really awesome experience. I was dripping sweat. I walked out. Now, again, it was an August day. It was warm outside, but no one left. It was and it was a blowout. Usually people will be like, hey, we're blowing them out. I'm going to leave at halftime. No one left. After it was done, if you look at our social, there's a picture of that day that Cristiano gave to me. And I guess they do this after every game where a lot of people stuck around, got their picture taken there, talked and chatted. It was a really, really great environment. And I can't stress enough how if you're going out there and you want to have some fun, hey, you got a lonely Saturday or a lonely Sunday, go on over to O'Hanlon's, meet some new friends, enjoy yourself, because it truly was an enthusiastic atmosphere.
Next time I'm going with you.
That's true. That's true.
Just try and stop me.
And there are a lot of regulars there that I got a chance to talk to, like Waja Dube. What team are you a fan of and why?
Arsenal FC out of North London. I grew up in North London as a kid, so it was pretty much in the 90s during the hooligan era, so it was pretty much support a team or get beat up, and Arsenal was the neighborhood I was living in at the time, and so it wasn't really a hard choice. Arsenal is all about the community. It is, of course, one of the big 6 teams, but at the end of the day, it's really surrounded about the community and the supporters who really want to power on the team, I think, more than many of the other clubs. So, it's got a massive international following, international players. It's got an amazing culture and history to it. And overall, it's an amazing team. Arsenal, the average Arsenal fan is ridiculously loyal to a fault. I think that's what you get across the board for most of us. All looks of different ages, colors, creeds, genders and sexualities, but at the end of the day, all about community and loyalty.
Why should I be an Arsenal fan? Sell me on Arsenal.
I think, like I said, it's the community that we have here, particularly here in New York City with O'Hanlon's and just the New York Gooners all around. It's an amazing community. We really do support each other both on and off season, but we've got an amazing players, amazing culture, and I think it is the best team for both men and women as well to support right now, especially for Americans who, whether you're watching the women's game or the men's game, there's just so much going on. And this could finally be our year to win the league after about 20-some odd years. So this is a great time to come down and support the Gooners.
What does match day look like for you? You base your whole week off of it? What does match day look like for you?
I'd say I used to base my whole week on it. As I got older, that's changed a little bit. Depends on the match, of course. But with the starting of the early matches, getting up early, getting that good breakfast, getting ready, and then coming down to all Hanlon's over here on 14th and 1st, and joining the community for for another amazing match.
And you grew up in North London. What are the games like? What is the atmosphere like going to the home games?
So I grew up all around the world, but North London is all about just the fandom of making your way down to your local stadium and going out there with, again, like I said, the community, cheering on your team, going to the tunnel, the pre-match celebrations, and of course going into the stadiums and just going crazy for your team. So that's it's unlike anything else. Very different from the States. The singing songs, the chanting, it's the culture of it, but it's just very different from what we find here in the States.
What's a deep cut Arsenal player that all Arsenal fans would know, but is not a casual fan would know all time, not on the current team?
I think of all time would be Thierry Henry. He actually played for Arsenal. He played for Barcelona. He also played for the New York Red Bulls. He's currently he's a pundit on CBS, Galazzo, and he's also been a coach for the Belgian team. So he's got an amazing pedigree. He played here in the States. He has a place here in New York. So I think for all-time players in Arsenal, he's the one that everyone should know about.
Tell me a little bit about O'Hanlon's, Bart. I want to make sure I give Cristiano a shout out there.
Most definitely. O'Hanlon's, owned by Tom over here. And, of course, we've got the amazing Cristiano. This is the mecca of football. If you are a Gooner in New York City, this bar has been around for over 14 years supporting us. So we've been coming, season in, season out. There's a few other amazing Arsenal bars around New York City, but for me, this is the best one for a diehard Arsenal fan who wants to sing the songs, get a little bit, tipsy in the morning, and have a great community around you.
And I understand you have a podcast. If you could tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, our podcast is called Dem Boys Watch Footy, and it's myself and a few other friends, and we talk about just football, intersectionality of culture, both men's and women's football as well, MLS, the Premier League, international football, and really just, have a good time just talking about the game and everything about it.
And I understand you're doing a charity for you're climbing Mount Kilimanjaro?
Yes, indeed. So I am climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in November with one of my clients called Dismiss Kilimanjaro Experiences, and we're raising money for Ubuntu Life Foundation, which is a place in Kenya which supports children with neurological disorders like ADHD, cerebral palsy, and epilepsy. So they have a full-on care center and school taking care of these kids and dispelling myths and social myths about kids with neurological disorders. So,
where can people go to support that?
Yeah, we have got a GoFundMe, so check out Summit for Ubuntu. That's SUMMIT for Ubuntu, UBUNTU on GoFundMe. So check it out. We're raising about $7,500. Of course, we always want to raise more, but we're going to have the page open until about late October, and we appreciate all the support.
And also while I was there was actually a camera crew. Jordan Finkel, also known as @AFC Goon, and his team were capturing the event for their socials. And Jordan had some really great takes on what it means to be an Arsenal fan. And what team are you a fan of and why?
Fan of Arsenal through and through, baby. I just grew up watching the golden years of Wenger and Vieira and Henry and Bergkamp and all of those guys. And how could you not fall in love with the beautiful game like that, how they played?
You're the man I want to ask with. In a few words, give me a few adjectives that would describe the Arsenal fan base.
Ooh, few words. I would say loyal. I would say hopeful. I would say historic. I would say humorous, and I would say winners.
Good one there. I haven't heard winners too, because you guys are winners.
We are winners. Like, we don't let the recent history fool you. Like, we're in a little bit of a slump. We're turning it around, but we have that history.
I love that calling second place is a slump.
That's the thing too. Like, look, I don't want to make excuses for second place. It's kind of a loser mentality, but at the same time, if we're being real, second place is an incredible achievement. It's better than third place, fourth place.
It's a Champions League. It's
exactly.
Like you guys go far.
So to do that 3 years in a row and have that be like, we wanting more, like, I think that's a good place to be in.
Describe game day for you, because I'm sure you watch every game.
Yeah, game day, wake up, get the fit ready. I wear the same jersey since middle school. The O2 is washed off. I don't know how I fit in it still. I pick the other merch because I don't buy new jerseys. I buy everything else. So I get that ready. I come to O'Hanlon's. I smoke a little joint pregame because a little bit of nervous. I get the Guinness and we start singing.
And why should I become an Arsenal? If I got to pick one team, why should I become an Arsenal fan?
Because it has the most. It has one of the most histories in England. I won't say the most, but one of the most. It has the most in London, which is the biggest city. I'm from New York. I'm a city boy, so I think that means something. We have a great history in terms of standing up for the right thing too. We were one of the first teams to start all Black 11, starting 11, and I just think we're just an incredible team. We have great merch. We have great players. It's just all around incredible. Another reason why you want to be an Arsenal fan is just that we do play the beautiful game. We play tough, we play physical, but we have a history of actually playing the beautiful game. Tiki-taka, passing the ball, diamonds, all of that. And then another reason, especially if you're in New York, O'Hanlon's is the best bar in New York. It's the best soccer bar in New York. It might be the best soccer bar in all of America. We get people from London talking about how great it is and how much it's actually better than the pubs close to the Emirates. So that's another reason why you want to be an Arsenal fan.
Everyone is singing and dancing in there. I'm hot and sweaty. I feel like I'm back in Cameron Indoor Stadium at Duke because it's like crazy. Everyone knows the chants.
It's unlike it. It's unlike anything else.
And I want to know a little bit about the social. You run one of the social accounts here, so tell me a little about that.
So I post all the recaps. I post the songs that we sing so that you guys can see all the reactions and everything. And then I'm also starting to post some interviews. I'm doing a little take where we do a cheers to somebody and we roll somebody up in a joint who did something bad. So look out for that.
Very nice. And where can they go to see that?
AFC Goon NYC or O'Hanlon's Bar Instagram.
And that's Instagram. Is that across all socials?
It's just Instagram. We're opening up YouTube, TikTok at some point, but right now it's Instagram.
And when I say that this experience is exceptional and that it's world-renowned, I'm not really over-exaggerating here because there were people that were coming in from all over the country and also all over the world. Like Brandon Davis and Michael Ariana, who are big fans of Arsenal and live out in Virginia, came all the way up to experience what it's like at O'Hanlon's. What team are you a fan of and why?
Arsenal, because it's family heritage. You know, I just passed on from my uncle right here, Michael.
I fell in love with Arsenal when I first laid eyes on Thierry Henry on the pitch, and the way he played, it was art.
And if you could describe Arsenal fans for me, in a few words, a few adjectives to describe Arsenal fans.
Loyal and PTSD.
I'd say passionate. And at times angry.
You see how global the team is and how much of a tight-knit community the team has all around the world. You know, if you ever have the privilege and the blessing to go to Emirates Stadium, you could see all the country flags around the stadium. They have freaking like a Seychelles Arsenal community, and I feel like you ask any other person, they might not even know where Seychelles is. You know, like Arsenal is all around the world. The fans have been through a lot in the past, 6-7 years. So yeah, we know what it's like to go through a struggle. So if there's any better time to become an Arsenal fan, it's right now.
I'd say loyalty and camaraderie. I want to echo what he said. If you have the chance to go to North London and to feel the love from the fans around you in the community, it's second to none.
And that leads me to my next question there. I'm assuming you've gone to some games up in North London. What is the game atmosphere like?
Oh, man, it's cloud nine all over the place. It's really a dream come true. It gets better every time. It will never get old. It's really a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You're used to seeing everything on the TV, but to actually be there in person is completely different.
Yeah, Brandon hit the mark. I mean, to be in the stadium, singing North London Forever with your brothers alongside you, there's no feeling like it. So, yeah.
What's your favorite Arsenal chant?
Probably Mikel Arteta's Army, or just North London Forever before the game.
Yeah, same. North London Forever.
What does match day look like for you?
It's getting up whatever time the game is and just going to the couch, just chilling. Trying not to stay calm before the game, and hopefully to stay calm throughout the game as well and not have to be so, uptight and nervy.
Same, just Arsenal memorabilia all around the house. Flag is up. Got my two dogs with me with their Arsenal gear on as well. my nephew, family, and we make it a day.
And explain to me what it's like at O'Hanlon's Bar. Why should people be coming out here?
First of all, I think how small it is really helps, boost the atmosphere, because obviously and everyone's more tighter and close together, so everything sounds louder. Everything sounds more like you're actually there. And very tight-knit, not that many people, enough to where you can start a conversation with the person next to you and maybe help build a new connection there as well.
Nice, I love that. So you find that it's a connector, these games here. That
Yeah,
people
of
come
course.
together.
It's like one big networking event in this sense. You make new friends and you have a common interest, and then you can expand from there as well.
And how about you? What do you love about it?
Listen, we've been here for an hour. We're from Northern Virginia, D.C. area, and this is our first time here. And again, I want to echo what he said. Being that it's so small, you can already see how loud it got 10 minutes ago, and so I'm really looking forward to singing North London Forever with everyone in there. And it's already, I feel the camaraderie and the brotherhood in there. So I'm excited.
I got one more question though.
Yeah.
For you finding from North Virginia there. So what is it like? What is the fandom like out in North Virginia?
I think it's pretty big. 2 years ago, the MLS All-Star game was in D.C. and was Arsenal. Arsenal was playing against the MLS All-Stars, and man, you'd think MLS people would be supporting, the American soccer, but no, the entire stadium was red and all Arsenal, everything Arsenal around there.
My first ever game was DC United, actually.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago.
Okay.
But explain to me, what's it like for out in Northern Virginia with the Arsenal fans there? What's soccer fans like?
I think there is. I think it's called Lucky's Bar in D.C. where they have Arsenal supporters. And I've been there. It's not quite like this. I mean, this is incredible. As you see, it's getting more packed by the minute, right? So, no, I mean, I hope to one day have something like this back home. But for the time being, I'm going to enjoy this while I'm here.
And as I said earlier, it has an international crowd. When I was there, I had a chance to talk to Pablo Laporta, who's French, but also lived in northern London and was there to watch the game and his thoughts on Arsenal and what it means to be a fan. And what team are you a fan of and why?
Arsenal through and through since the day I was born.
And why? Just grew up with that, or what's it?
My parents are French, so Wenger era, Thierry Henry, all of that, Petit, Vieira. It was the only English team that had the most French players, and so I was just born into it.
Why should I become an Arsenal fan?
I think it's a team with a certain pedigree and class without being overly dominating. Some teams get a little bit boring if, maybe this is a very Arsenal thing to say, they win every season, but, you got that balance between class and quality. And I think historically, they've always been a progressive club. I live in North London now. I think it's a good crowd to be around, very passionate fans, ambitious, but also restricted sometimes. So it's quite dramatic. I'd say it's always a ride, up or down. You'll never be bored.
That's an excellent answer. Thank you very much for that. Describe match day at the stadium? It sounds like you go to a few of the games. What's the atmosphere like at the stadium?
Oh man, you just get in early, go to the pubs around the Emirates, go with a couple mates, get some pints in, and then go to the stadium, learn all the chants, have a good time, sing your heart out.
What are some adjectives you would use to describe Arsenal fans?
Ooh, to describe the fans, passionate, but that's a given. I'd say involved and dedicated. I think it's demanding to be a fan over the last 20 years. It's been a lot of ups and downs. Loyal for sure, and not very complacent, which is good. I'd say those are the things. Aside from the obvious passion and dedication.
Would you say that Arsenal, the team itself, has a certain style of play, and what would you describe that as?
I think, the Wenger era was very free-flowing and quite liberal football, and that came with its downsides. I think I like that Arteta has solidified some foundations, becoming a more defensively reliable team. Like growing up, I always knew we were trying to outgun another team. To now know we can lock them out is pretty cool. Hopefully we don't lose that creative flair, but, Ethan coming out the academy, as they're coming in, even players like Noni who maybe still have to show it. We're bringing some flair back to the Arsenal, which is much needed, and I think we'll get that balance that a great team needs between flair, creativity, but a solid spine.
And last question I have, what's it like watching the match here at O'Hanlon's Bar?
First time coming here. Pretty high standards because I do most of my watching in London, North London. Through the roof, man. Energy is through the roof. Bar staff, they got the chants going. You got people from everywhere. I'd recommend it.
As I said, there's lots of singing and chanting going on there. Waja even talked a little bit about what his favorite song was.
You don't have to sing, you can. But what are some of the big chants that casual fans should know for Arsenal?
I guess 1-0 to the Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal is your easiest one. That's what we say anytime we score a goal. But North London forever. There are quite a few that we have. We have songs for each one of our players as well, and our managers, and against our main rivals. So there's quite a lot to learn. Definitely Google them because they can go on for a while. And I won't bore you with my horrible voice outside without my people.
And Mark, we also had a chance to talk to Scott Tejarian to go through what is the makeup, the zodiac makeup of Arsenal. So Arsenal is the number 2 team. They are in London. What did you find in the sign for Arsenal?
So Arsenal, like Everton, was born with the sun in Sagittarius, December 11th, 1886. The sun was in Sagittarius, like Everton. Mercury was in Sagittarius, like Everton. Venus, though, was also in Sagittarius. Everton, it's Scorpio. So 3 planets in Sagittarius. Arsenal, very freedom-loving. Their moon is in Gemini, so a lot of mutable energy. Their emotional nature is quick to change. They might be really excited about the team, then they can't stand the team because the team isn't doing what the team's supposed to be doing. There might be a lot of back and forth over whether or not they're excited about the team or not, but there's a real sense of freedom, honesty, exploration, righteousness in being an Arsenal fan. Mars is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is, again, about that achievement. So they are driven to achieve, like they're not satisfied unless they're hoisting up whatever the trophy is to win the title.
That sounds about right. They are about championships and they do turn on their team. If my friend Adam Evans is ever listening there, he will turn on them in a dime if when the hardware is no longer in reach.
That's it. Wow, that's the Gemini moon. You can't pin them down. You're like, wait, I thought you liked me. No, I changed my mind. It's like, what? Arsenal,
like Liverpool, is usually at the top, is among the top 6. Their fan base does not, as far as I know, does not win as much as the Manchester Cities and the Liverpools, but they're always in the mix. And they always expect their team to be in the mix, and yet we'll turn on them in a dime. It is not a good season if there is not a piece of hardware. Taking second is not good enough.
I love
it. Well, thanks for listening again to the Ultra World Podcast. For Marc Renee, I'm Sean Castles, and we'll see you next time.
This has been the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands, with your hosts, Marc Renee and Sean Castles. Our executive producer is Sue Zizza. Marc Renee and Sean Castles are co-producers. David Shin is our master engineer. Assistant producer Avery Gehrig, and I'm Alicia Antwine. To be a guest on the Ultra World Podcast or learn all about sponsorship opportunities, send an email to ultraworldpod@gmail.com. Be sure to follow the show on all the social media platforms at Ultra World Pod. Copyright 2025. All rights reserved. Ultra World Podcast, LLC.